Hey MIAA fans, I'm Bethany Bowman, your host for the MIAA Network 360 show. Thanks for joining us. I'm standing right here in the Emporia State men's basketball locker room as we prepare to talk to head men's basketball coach Craig Doty at Emporia State in this week's show. It's his first year with the Hornets and his first year in the MIAA. He's excited for the future of Hornet basketball and to compete in a very tough MIAA conference. Later in the show, we'll head over to Missouri Western and talk to Teresa Grossbach, Associate AD for Student Success and Senior Women's Administrator. She'll tell us all about her journey into collegiate athletics and how excited she is to be working with Griffin Sports. But first, let's head up to Coach Doty's office and check in with him about his first year as head coach of the Hornets. I'm Bethany Bowman for the MIAA Network, sitting down with head men's ESU basketball coach Craig Doty. Just hired this past year, Coach Doty, and how excited are you to be here?
It's 3 months strong going on, and it's been a good 3 months so far. The community of Emporia, you can't walk anywhere without everybody being excited about men's basketball, and everybody talking about getting their season tickets renewed and just getting excited for the season. So, of course, I share in that excitement with them, and we're just trying to win each day.
Spent the last 2 seasons at Graceland University, won a national championship there, and prior to there I was at Rock Valley Junior College in Illinois and won 2 national championships there. So a guy that knows how to win. How excited are you for this new challenge at Emporia State?
Well, you know, anytime you enter the MIAA, an incredible NCAA Division II league, you number one want to humble yourself. You want to take the things that you've done in the past, and you certainly want to take the positive things with you and embrace those styles and embrace the cultures that have been built, but also understand that we're coming into a new level of competition, and just make sure we're focusing on winning each and every day. And you know, if we can do that in the classroom and we can do that in the community and certainly do that in practice every day, we feel like we have the talent here to compete at a very high level, and we look forward to showcasing that here very soon.
Talking about not living in the past, but you know, we do have to backtrack a little bit to those national championships. Just talk about the feeling of, you know, coming out on top at the end of the season. Only one team gets to do that in every division, so pretty special moment.
Sure, absolutely. You know, we're very fortunate. You know, 3 national titles in my last 5 years as a head coach, and one of those was a national runner-up as well in New York. We lost to a team from Texas, Richland College. We blew an 11-point second-half lead. And, you know, I have a 9-year-old son, and I still remember his face and the tears going down his eyes when he didn't get a cut down the net with me, because he had done it the year prior. Well, you know, we got to do it the next year at Rock Valley College, and then 2 years later in Kansas City at Municipal Auditorium while at Graceland University for the NAIA Division I. So, you know, to be able to do that, you know, once in your career obviously is very special. To be able to do it multiple times, you know, I think it really just grounds you and gets you to focus on what's important. You know, you kind of have an after you do it for a 3rd time and the season's done, there's almost an empty feeling, and then you take a step back and you realize, you know, you don't think of it about yourself. You think about everybody else and the kids that you've impacted, and the degree progress that was made amongst your student athletes and the community support and the rallying, and you realize, you know, this is so much bigger than one individual, even much bigger than just your team. It's a whole community, a whole university response, and you know, words can't do it justice. It is incredibly special, and then you just try to saddle up the boots again, and you know, and just try to get going and try to compete again the next year. So.
You talk about it being bigger than basketball. You know, you've had all your teams doing so much outside of basketball, community service, and being learning mentors for younger students. Just talk about that and how you get your guys involved.
Yeah, you know, and we have a project this year. We're going to do 30 community service projects over the course of the entire academic year, and we're very excited about those. We're currently calling and working with many people around the community to make sure we're getting in nursing homes and getting in hospitals and being able to help many people out. I just think that adds to the student-athlete experience and really goes hand in hand with being a Division II NCAA student-athlete. And anytime they can make an impact on somebody who has a need, and whether we can go mow somebody's yard who doesn't maybe have the means to keep it up, or scoop some snow and clean some walkways, or paint a park bench, just any chance we get, I think there's continuity to that the student athletes will take with them long after they graduate to be able to make an impact in their future respective communities as well.
What are some of your goals as a head coach coming into Emporia State?
Well, we're not asking for patience. We want to win right away. So, I mean, we expect to hit the ground running. We feel like we've done that with the recruiting class that we've brought in. But, you know, so much comes down to culture and buy-in and how our student athletes will respond to a new coach. And, you know, we feel like we have some pieces in place, but ultimately it's to win championships. And we understand that may not happen overnight, but we have an expectation that we're going to work to make it happen as soon as possible. And if we're winning championships, that isn't just on the floor. That's as we talked about in the community, and certainly making sure we're making degree progress with all our student athletes. So when that ball stops bouncing, they certainly can go get into the field of their choice and hopefully make a ton of money and do what they want and make an impact.
For the average person that, you know, might not be so in tune with college athletics and how the whole process works, talk a little bit about recruiting. And, you know, obviously you've got some guys here on your staff that help you out a lot, but, you know, talk about how you go out and find some of the guys that you want to be on your team.
Well, we just got back from the July Live period. The NCAA sets the recruiting calendar when we're able to go out and take a live look at prospective student athletes, especially during the summer AAU circuit. And you really get to compile your list and build up a list. And we saw over 500 student athletes this summer and really focusing on our 2019 recruiting class and 2020 recruiting class. And it's just building relationships from there. You know, lots of calls, texts, and getting to know mom and dad and just trying to find the right fit, not only for the student athlete but for us. And when you can find the right fit for all parties, that's when success happens.
In the MIAA, which you will be now experiencing with Emporia State, you know, highly regarded as, you know, possibly one of the best basketball conferences in the country. You know how to win. You've been, you know, in the national championship games, but how excited are you, and what are some of the challenges that the MIAA is going to pose?
Well, you know, you just look at the league across the board, especially from the men's basketball side, in all sports, but, you know, as a men's basketball coach, that's really what we identify with. The coaches are just incredible. I mean, you have a former Division I head coach at Missouri. You have a national championship head Division II coach a couple years ago. You have names that you know, Jeff Boschee at Missouri Southern played at Kansas, and he's just an outstanding coach. And it's across the league. There's not a weak coach anywhere in this league, and that challenge is something that gets you up every single day, and it says, you know, you got to work harder. You know, we got to prep more. We got to get our guys more ready. We got to bring in the highest level student athletes. So I think the league made up of strong coaches is a league that's going to succeed. You know, at each individual institution, but overall at a national level, that we can continue to maintain the MIAA as one of the top tier conferences. And you know, even Sundance Wicks, new coach at Missouri Western, he's got a lot of excitement going on over there. We got a lot of excitement going on here. It's just I don't see a weak link in the league, and it's going to be a battle every night. But that's what we live for. That's why we're doing this. So.
I talked to Kent Weiser, Director of Athletics, about just how many applicants had applied for this job that you know, you now have, and you're sitting in the seat right here. So just talk about how exciting that moment was for you, and what was kind of going through your head when you got that call.
Sure. Well, it was 8:57 a.m. on Wednesday, April, was it 24th maybe? But I get a phone call. It was early in the morning, and I got a phone call, and we knew he would be making a decision that morning, and you want to get the call earlier than later. If you're getting a call in the afternoon, it's probably not going to be a good call. I got the call right away in the morning. It obviously was a very exciting time. My family and I, we had talked thoroughly about it, and if that opportunity arose, we were ready to make that move right away. And I had a smile on my face, and still do as a result of that. And it's just, it's every day get to work now. But very happy to be sitting in this seat. It's a big-time job here at Emporia State. The resources are here to succeed, and we got great facilities. White Auditorium is just an incredible venue for college basketball. You know, it's exciting. We just keep saying the word exciting over and over again, because I think that that's the best descriptive word.
As a coach, what do you take in as your coaching mentality, and what are some of your, you know, your key points?
Well, I think overall how I've always built my programs is just around an environment that involves discipline, and we're not afraid to use the L word. We're not afraid to use the word love, and just bring guys together. You know, we're not going to hold hands and skip up and down the floor by any means, but we're going to care about one another, and you know, we're just really going to look at each other as humans, not just as basketball players, and how can we help each other. You know, this past off season, I helped countless former players of mine get get jobs, as the reference is. And I think when you can explain to your student athletes and build a program that's based around each individual's future and explain what's in it for them, even if they're not getting the shots that they want to or the minutes that they want to on the floor, but we can build a comprehensive young man that can be very successful in life, and explain how we can help them and how being a part of this team and structure is going to benefit them long term. That's when you get that full and buy-in, and when you get that, that's how you can make championship runs.
Team on three. 1, 2, 3. 10.
Next, let's check in with Teresa Grossbach at Missouri Western University. Joining me today is Teresa Grossbach, Associate AD for Student Success and Senior Women's Administrator here at Missouri Western. Pretty new here to campus, and for Griffin Athletics, how has your first year been here?
It's been great. It's 7 weeks on the job now, and everyone's been extremely friendly. I like the culture and the competitive attitude for our student athletes and our coaches, and it's just a great group of strong professionals.
You don't always see the behind-the-scenes people that do so much for athletic programs. What are some of your duties that include in your daily workday?
Sure. I think I'm still getting a handle on that a little bit, but overall, the biggest piece is the academic success of our student athletes, making sure that they're connected with the right resources on campus, and if they have a question about a class or want to look at a specific major, and then working with that faculty to make sure they're in the right area to make them the most successful. Some sport oversight, working closely with our volleyball program and Coach Carbon, and that's been fun. And working with Coach Yuri Levinsky, our new cross-country and track and field coach. And so we just hosted our first ever meet on campus, which was great in September. Had a great following out there, and good results. Both teams won. And then working with our Student Athlete Advisory Council. And so, they're such a critical piece of campus and helping to bring concerns and new initiatives. So we're doing a GRIFS supporting GRIFS this year, really trying to get student athletes out supporting other student athletes at events. So those are the primary, and then anything else that might come into play on any given day.
Sounds like you're pretty busy. How important do you feel like it is that students can have somebody they can come to when they have a question or a concern?
I think it's critical to make sure student athletes have that one-on-one attention that they potentially need. There's a lot of adjustment the first month of classes, trying to figure out what you're in, where you're going, especially if you're new. And so I think just to be present and try to make sure that they feel supported and that they have the resources around them that they need is really important.
So prior to coming to Missouri Western, spent a number of years at Baker University, and talk about some things that you did there, and how was that experience like for you?
It was great. Originally I'm a student athlete at Baker. I played basketball, and so was there for 4 years. Then went away for about a year and a half, worked for the NAI National Office doing some championship event work, and then had an opportunity to come back to campus. My mentor invited me to work for him as assistant athletic director. And so it was a nice progression. A great long stretch of my professional career was there, moving from assistant to associate to then director. Really proud of the work that we did, that our coaches and student athletes were able to accomplish there. By the end of my tenure, we had taken our women's basketball program to the national championship, our football program to the national championship. Student athletes, I think we had just an incredible number of All-Americans, but then also academic All-Americans. And so it was really important, just like it is here, to have that campus, that community, and that competition. I think you could be a student first and an athlete second and still be very successful and win. And I think we keep score for a reason, so that's certainly something people judge us on. But I think the bigger game is helping those student athletes graduate and figure out what they want to do next, and supporting that.
You talk about, a really nice progression that you had moving along in your career. When did you first kind of decide, this is something that I want to get into? Has it been, a lifelong deal, or, more towards in college?
I started out as an English major, and I evolved into a business major. And so I think I figured out quickly I wasn't interested in teaching or writing, or just a passion that I had. And so I can relate to students that come and think they want to do one thing, and then you realize maybe something else is the road you're going down. And really, my mentor, Dan Harris, who was the director of athletics at Baker, was the biggest influence. And I think just showing confidence in me that I could do a job in athletics, and kind of inspired me to pursue that. And then just staying beside me through that first stretch of my career was really critical. And so I think finding that mentor that can make a difference it made all the difference for me in knowing that I wanted to pursue this as a career.
You talk a little bit about relating to students who, don't maybe switch what they want to do or don't know what they want to do. I feel like you can also really relate to students because you were a student athlete yourself, an NAIA scholar athlete while you were playing basketball. And so how does that help you now that you're dealing with students knowing you've been one yourself?
Well, I think I realize how many things a student athlete has to balance, and I think sometimes external folks don't necessarily realize that. Anything from the weightlifting to the film to the actual practice to the preseason, in season, there's always some kind of season happening, and then trying to balance that class load plus friends, your family, and so knowing all those stressors and having lived through those over the course of 4 years, I think allows me to relate to them and try to show some empathy, but also then try to motivate in the times when it can get really hard.
What advice would you have for, any young student athlete, male or female, that is looking to get into athletics and, just wants to take those steps to progress like you did yourself?
Sure. I think definitely getting some practical experience, whether that's through an internship or shadowing someone to try to figure out, there's so many pieces of athletics that you can go into, whether it's sports information or marketing or management or the leadership administrative side. So I think that's important. Certainly you have to have the educational background, so whether you're doing sports rec or business, something that relates, because it is a business, there is that side of it you have to know, but you also have to know how to work with people and be part of a team. And I think beyond that, I think it's working extremely hard, always going that extra mile to let someone see your value, because I think building those relationships over time is what can get you a job and what can help you keep a job. I think it's amazing how small the world of college athletics is. Everybody knows somebody who knows you. And so I think making sure that you're very intentional about how you treat people along the way, because I think that will come back around in the end.
We have spent some time on campus with the MIAA Network talking to coaches and athletes, and a common theme that everybody's kind of been telling us is that there's just an excitement around Griffin athletics right now. I know that you're fairly new to the athletics program, might not have a real comparison of previous years, but do you feel what I'm talking about when people say that Griffin athletics is heading into the right direction? Yes,
I feel it. It's extremely exciting time to be a Griffin. We've had a tremendous year last year with the volleyball run and the soccer run and making it to those regional events, and it's extended into golf and just a variety of sports. And so I think the momentum we have right now is really fun, and you feel the energy on campus and just the connection, I think, through social media and students attending other events to support student athletes. And so it's an exciting time to be a member of the Griffin family.
And lastly, with all the success you've had in your career, previously at Baker as well, we mentioned all the numerous All-Americans and the runner-up finishes on your teams, lots of individual national champions. What are you looking forward to most, and what are your expectations while you're here as a Griffin athletics department?
Well, I think, it's exciting to be a member of a first-class athletic department here, as a Griffin. And so that's certainly, I believe in the quality aspect of trying to create that experience for our student athletes that's really positive, and so that when they leave here, they want to return and, they want to tell us all their successes in life, whether it's family or a new job. So I think continue to be a part of that and help build and push us to the next level. I think that's what our challenge is right now, is to take steps in each program to move forward. And it's not all about wins and losses like we talked about before, but certainly that matters. So we want to be extremely competitive, but we care about how students are performing in the classroom, and especially in my role, helping to make sure we maintain our level of excellence and then try to exceed that, and then getting out in the community and making a difference in St. Joe. And so I think overall, I'm just looking forward to being a part of the team and to help drive those initiatives forward.
I think you guys are doing a great job, and Griffin Athletics very lucky to have you on board as well.
The MIAA means excellence to me, not only on the field, but also in the classroom.
We take pride in the relationships established through our student athletes, take pride in how well they do academically, and take pride that the bottom line is a well-rounded student athlete.
It provides an opportunity for students to continue their lifelong passion of sports. And they will do it in an environment which is very positive, it's very upbeat. It does not have all the entanglements of Division I. Division II is what college athletics should be.
Thanks for watching this week's MIAA Network 360 show. Make sure to tune back in next week, and don't forget, fans, that the MIAA men and women's basketball tournament is quickly approaching. Held at Historic Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City, March 6th through 10th, it's a week you won't want to miss. Check out the MIAA.com for more information on upcoming events, and remember to bring your A game.